Hello again, YouTubers, on with SpongeBob 101 back here again on the SpongeBob channel, and today we have our SpongeBob episode 213, The Getaway, and Lost and Found episode review videos. Alright, or video for that matter. And yeah, so today is June 11, 2017, and the two episodes came out yesterday on June 10th, 2017. So, yeah, I watched the episodes a couple times over, and I must say, I'm actually pretty impressed with Nickelodeon, in actually, or at least the SpongeBob team, not really Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon distributes SpongeBob, okay? They don't make it. But yeah, so I'm actually pretty impressed that they decided to make a whole lot of references, like, in these two episodes, or at least in just one of the two episodes. And, they also brought back some really funny ideas from, you know, the very first few seasons, which I will elaborate on later. All right, so anyways, The Getaway. All right, so The Getaway basically involves another Mrs. Puff and SpongeBob driving lesson, right? So Mrs. Puff brings SpongeBob to drive in the cemetery. And her plan fails. So, I mean, you really have all these in these two episodes. By the way, you have a lot of references to past episodes. Like, for example, here we see the Smitty Werben Jingerman Jensen. The he was number one grave. And in the later episode, actually, before I forget, there's actually one scene where you can actually see the number one hats in the Krusty Krab. So yeah, but yeah, and basically they somehow end up in front of a prison, in front of Bikini Bottom jail, where Mrs. Puff wants to call for a different instructor, and basically how it goes is that coincidentally there is a breakout, or a prison break. Okay, so this prisoner jumps into the car, SpongeBob to drive, and pretends to be his new driving instructor, which is pretty darn funny because the stuff that they go through is like really crazy. So firstly, there's like tricking SpongeBob into helping him rob the jewelry and electronics store, and then, you know, they go through the car wash, also known as the wash. And yeah, it's really funny. And of course, SpongeBob shows how terrible he is of a driver by driving in the wrong direction. Then they hop through like clotheslines, and and they have really funny one-liners. Yeah. So at the end of the day, basically, they go through like a driving range, right? So where fish are playing golf. And then they accidentally drive through coral fields and past a cliff with falling rocks. Eventually, that guy ends up right back in a jail, and he begs them to take him back and never let him out again. I mean, of course, there's a side story of Mrs. Puff and the getaway driver. So yeah, the thing is, the prisoner was supposed to meet up with the getaway driver, who ended up driving Mrs. Puff to chase after SpongeBob. So it was really funny, and there was some sort of romance there as well, which is also really funny. And subsequently, you know, you had that scene where SpongeBob wasn't watching the road, so he didn't realize he was gonna go off a cliff. He went off the cliff, and the police cars went after him off the cliff as well. So that was really funny, and it reminded me of the episode Doing Time, you know, episode 45 from season 3. And yeah, you know, there's that scene where Mrs. Puff is with SpongeBob, and SpongeBob is just like yeah, basically Mrs. Puff is acting hysteric, and SpongeBob is just like, whatever, I'm just falling off a cliff. I mean, like, I'm falling. And they land up in yeah, they land up smashing into that juice truck at a Shady Shoals. So yeah, that was really funny. But in this case, they smash right into jail. And also, one thing I noticed is that they actually even try to put in a safety message at the end of the episode. You know, where the part where all the police cars smash under the ground, and then they say, make sure to drive safely and buckle up your seatbelts or something like that. So yeah, educational and funny at the same time. That's SpongeBob for you guys, right? So I'll give this episode a maybe 3.75 to 4 out of 5. Now, this wasn't really one of my favorite episodes. I'm just saying it's a pretty decent episode. I don't know about you guys, so what are your thoughts? Comment in the box below, right? So, anyways, that is it for the Getaway. I strongly recommend you to watch it if you have yet to on iTunes or whatever. I'll have the link to that in the description box below. Now, moving on to Lost and Found. So basically, we see the Krusty Krab basement once again. Now, probably the most significant time we've seen the basement was in the SpongeBob movie. You know, where the paddy wagon was stored in the Krusty Krab 2. Now, this is not a Krusty Krab 2, so it's probably not the same basement, but it's probably a basement of. Oh yeah, wait a minute. In the game, it was in Krusty Krab 2. So yeah, this is not the same one. This is the regular Krusty Krab. But yeah, so the thing is, you know, what really got me thinking there was that the movie was supposed to be the end of the series, but now you know you have basically movie references in this episode, which means that this episode follows the movie. So, I mean, I don't know where that's going, but yeah, alright? So maybe we're gonna get some more epic stuff that features post-movie kind of things. Alright, so, but anyways, the main plot of the story is that there's this kid who lost his teddy fish, and Mr. Krabs orders SpongeBob to go into the unknown, the lost and found basement, of which he didn't know existed. I mean, we never knew the Krusty Krab had a lost and found in the first place, right? Alright, so yeah, and basically what he was supposed to do is find the teddy fish, but what he found instead was these lost and found dwellers. Basically, they were kids who were lost at the Krusty Krab over 60 years ago, and one of them had a teddy fish. So SpongeBob manages to swipe it, but well, they chase him, using a whole lot of ridiculous things like toilet bowls and mine carts. So SpongeBob finds in the basement, or in the lost and found, a whole lot of things. The lost and found is literally like a whole world underneath the Krusty Krab, by the way. And basically he finds like toys, novelty items, even lost pets, snails, you know, lost mines. You know, they even added in those gnomes, or like undersea gnomes for that, which is really cool. In fact, I think this is like taking something out of the Gravity Falls playbook, you know, the gnomes, or maybe even 7D from Disney. So yeah, there was also Lost Worlds, and now if you look at the sky in the Lost World, where there are dinosaurs and stuff like that, it looks like the medieval Bikini Bottom, so, or even the prehistoric Bikini Bottom, which we saw in Ugh. Not really Ugh, honestly. The sky was more from Dungeons and Dragons, but it was supposed to be more of a world like the one in Ugh. But yeah, okay. And so we also saw the King Neptune's crown, the bag of winds, the Goofy Goober guitar, and even, you know, there was this, on one of the shells there was like this paper that said Finland on it, and that reminded me of the episode Frankendoodle. You know, the part where the Doodlebop draws up a bowling ball and, like, you know, uses it to knock out Patrick into the pit. And when Patrick falls down, he says like Finland. He's like, Finland. Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not sure whether the writers are referring to that at all. I mean, or the artists were doing that on purpose, but I'm pretty sure that has something to do with Frankendoodle. All right. And also we had those cymbal clapping chimps, which, I mean, honestly, I feel like I've seen before. I'm pretty sure, I mean, the most common toy episode that I can think of is Toy Story Doom from season 6. But unfortunately, I don't think it was in that episode, so I could be wrong, honestly, because I haven't watched Toy Story of Doom for quite a long time. So if you guys know, comment in the box below. I mean, I really am quite curious to see, where I've seen that before. But anyways, so the whole point was that oh, and there was this also in this same episode, there was another side story, a little bit much shorter, about Squidward. All right, so Squidward was sent down into the Lost and Found to search for both SpongeBob and the bear. And the fish. Teddy fish. And he finds his clarinets, which Mr. Krabs probably took from his locker and dumped it in there. And he finds those what are those things? Those I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but yeah, so there's probably a screenshot that you probably saw or are gonna see right now, but yeah, so I really can't think of it, but it's like one of those whistles, and Squids is like, everyone loved it. And then they have the scene where in a Bikini Bottom school, remember that from Krabby Land, Bikini Bottom Elementary? Well, now it's just renamed Bikini Bottom School. So yeah, so kids are running out of there because of Squidward's playing of that thingy. I have no idea what that thing is called. Again, I apologize, but yeah. So at the end of the day, all the lost kids are reunited, but not after having the lost and found flooded by grease that SpongeBob did not clean out for years, and the kid was satisfied with one of those creatures from the Lost Worlds. Unfortunately, Squid was stuck in there in the Lost Worlds, and oh well, too bad for him, right? Too bad for him. So yeah, that was pretty much how the episode ended, which was a bit abrupt, honestly. I thought it was a bit abrupt, but nonetheless, it was still pretty cool. Seeing so many flashbacks or references to older episodes or the movie, for that matter. So yeah, really, really awesome. Now I'll give it a 4 out of 5 as well. So overall, episode 213 is a 4 out of 5. Yeah, so what are your thoughts? I'm really interested in reading what you guys think about the episodes. It's not real. Even if I had to think that it was bad or boring, I can't bring myself to. So yeah, comment box below your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe, like, favorite, comment, etc. Keep right here on Ultimate SpongeBob 101. And tomorrow we'll have another video celebrating our Day of Happiness, June 12th. We're bringing back one of our super old series, but this series may not really be sustained, honestly. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. Alright, so make sure to stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!